To continue on with our report creation for the last part of Access 6, the last part I mentioned about adjusting the customer name, I should have mentioned that you can also, like we did in previous, you can change that to can grow. If you click on the text box and then the can grow property, that will alleviate that problem as well. If I save this and preview it, I'm going to show you something that may happen. Is see all this extra space in here? The reason for that extra space is because, if I open it back in design view, I have all this extra space for the detail. So I can actually reduce that, and if I save it and preview it now, notice the major difference that makes. So you want to adjust your detail section to eliminate that, and see how now the Applewood State University, the customer names look much better after adding that can grow. So that's a nice property to work with. What I want to do next is in design view with our report again. I'm going to click back on my group and sort for a second, because we need to add another element here. So on the book rep area, I'm going to click on more, and where it says without a footer section, I'm going to change that to say with a footer section, and it adds a book rep footer section. We're going to use that here upcoming very shortly. So did that to figure 6-67. Now I'm going to actually, I can close that because I don't need that anymore, the sort, group and sort. What I may need to do is open this up a little bit and have a little bit of room. In the book rep number footer that we just added, I'm going to add a new text box. And this new text box I'll put in here, and the label is going to say subtotal. Subtotals, and then the expression that will go in the box here is going to be equals. This is by figure 6-70. Sum of, make sure you get your parentheses and your brackets right. Current due. Capitalization is not important, but your brackets and your parentheses are very important. Otherwise, it'll yell at you. Okay. Again, I like to check this along the way, see if any problems arise. So in my footer now, down here, I have my subtotal, but with the problem, it's not set up as currency. So let me open back in design view. I could have done that, should have done that, but I'll click on here, go under format, and set that to currency. What I'm going to do next is actually we're going to use the same idea. I'm going to use the same label, but I'm going to do this a little differently because I'm going to add another text box. And with the text box comes another label. We don't want the label though, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on just the label. I'm going to delete that, but I still have my text box, which is nice. And what this will let me do is I'm going to have another text box that will be another subtotal, and the expression for this is figure 6-71. This is equals sum, again, careful with your parentheses and your brackets, amount paid. And you may want to take a second and kind of clean these up and move them in a good location. Actually, notice what I did. I have these backwards. So current due should be on the right. Amount paid should be on the left. So make sure you put these under the respective areas, being the text box. The label itself can be wherever within there. So make sure that they are both set for currency, since that seems to be something I forget to do. So I'm going to click on here, and that's already set for currency. Let's preview this real quick and see how it looks. My subtotals look good down there, and they should jive up with the amount paid and current due. If you want to do some quick math, that's fine. I'm going to go back to design view because we're going to use that idea again. We're going to be a little lazy here. It's okay to be a little lazy every once in a while. What I'm going to do this time is I'm going to, in the page footer down here, I'm going to add some grand totals. Now the way I'm going to do this, actually before I need to add a report footer. I have a page footer. To add the report footer, what I need to do is on page 382, figure 6-73. What I need to do is just right click in here, and I need to go to add a report footer, and it puts a report footer down there. Okay. So in the report footer, I'm going to not use the page footer, so I'm going to actually bring it up. But I'm going to actually copy, I'm going to highlight these expressions I made here in the book rep number footer. I'm going to copy those, and I'm going to paste them down below. And obviously I'm going to do a little bit of changes here because it's going to be a little bit different. What's going to be different is instead of subtotals, it's going to say grand totals. And then we need to clean this up and move it around a little bit, make it look better. But what that will do now is that'll put the grand totals in there. Let me go ahead and save it. See how it looks. Clear at the bottom. We have grand totals. Fantastic. Okay, so let's go back. We're almost done with this. Let me open back up in design view. And what we're going to do next is to talk about changing the report header. That's fine. We can do that. But what I'm going to do next is I'm going to come over here and need a little bit of room, just a little bit more room. And in the detail section, I'm going to add a new text box in the detail section. Right. And for the detail, excuse me, for the item, I'm going to do this a little bit differently just because they show us to do something yet. Another different way is under the properties, I'm going to click in the source control area and bring up what's called the builder. And I click on that by clicking on the three dots. And what I can do is I can add an expression here. The expression I'm going to do, I'm going to click on functions, built-in functions, program flow, and this is just a figure 6-79. And I'm going to add that expression. Now, it gives you the generic expression there. What I need to do is make it specific. Figure 6-80 has the specific expression. So I'll type it as it looks in there. And be careful. Be very careful with your parentheses and brackets. No curly brackets needed. I almost had a curly bracket in there. So I have amount paid. And what's nice, you start typing it, it'll pop up there. You hit your tab button and it fills in there for you. This is greater than 20,000. If that's true, the expression will be 0.04 times, again, current due. If it's not true, or the false part will be 0.02 times current due. And then close out with a parenthesis. And hit OK. Now, I obviously need to clean this up here for a second. One thing I don't need is I don't need my label. So I'm going to delete that label. We'll do something with that in a moment. Let me first look at this, see how it looks. I like to check everything, as you can probably tell at this point. Now that is the discount. So to add a discount, a couple ways you can do this. I'm going to try a little sneaky thing. I'm going to copy a label from the page header and paste it. They also have you adding a label up there yourself using one of the controls. But because I'm a little lazy, I'm going to change this to discount and make this line up right below where that's at. Okay, I might be pushing the envelope on the edge of the page here, so be careful with that. And the only other thing I need to do, or haven't done, I may have actually skipped this earlier, I need to put a title and play with my borders at the top. So if I want to add a title, I click on title, and I can manipulate that as needed. And I'm going to save this, and that will complete the discount report. Good luck. And as I said earlier, sometimes it's easier if you have a problem to restart rather than go back and fix something.